Hello, hello again from the land of madness. Actually, it's not. It's just a bunch of voice actors and creators just talking about random shit like we always do. And on my immediate left, or at least it would be left if they were next to me, is a like with too many sevens.
Hey, yo.
And next to him is a demon with too many grocery stores.
Told you we'd be back.
There's the Lord of all Jasers.
Hello.
And this last one, a bit of a special guest. You may know her as a Roses Full of Dusty. I know her as Gogo Bomango. She is...
It's me, Sandra Espinosa. I'm so happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you. Welcome to the show. So, Sandra, you being the newcomer and all, tell us, what you got going on? What do you do? Who are you?
I was born in a log cabin. 1905.
A good year.
How was Abraham Lincoln in real life? Is he cool? I heard he was cool.
He was a lot shorter than people tend to remember him.
Side note, I love when anybody can squeeze aught into their dating. I
19
appreciate that
11
every
12.
single time.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted.
19, 11, 12, and 4 score.
Well, but things have been going pretty great lately. I'm happy to be here. Just chilling, doing my thing here in New York. And
Yeah, she's a New Yorker.
yeah, so doing a lot of indie games. Like I tend to do both playing and working with indie games, which is pretty great because I enjoy what I do. So that's awesome. And I always have a surplus of games I can fall back on. I'm always looking to find free time with, and the fact that I get to actually help make them, at least from an audio perspective, is pretty sweet. It's my favorite sort of niche of voice acting.
Very nice.
And then anything else I can find, really, anything else that's fun.
Why don't you drop some titles on us? What you been in?
Okay, well, my first role ever paid was with Wadget Eye Games, which was called Resonance. I did a part of one of the main characters' mothers, which kind of quickly became my typecast, which I'm totally fine with. It's really fun because I've always kind of been this maternal sound. But I'm actually back with them after a couple games where I was not actually available to do any work or even audition with them. And I've come to be in this new game that's out, or is going to be out soon, called Unavowed. And we're all pretty hyped for it. And I actually got one of the lead roles as one of the investigators in this, like, clique of people who go around and take on the supernatural and fight bad forces that are threatening the mundane world. And it's pretty sweet. It's going to be a great point-and-click
That sounds
adventure.
That
I would
sounds
play
If
amazing.
memory serves, aren't both Frank and Julie also in that? I
In
think.
Resonance? You know what?
No,
that name does sound familiar.
Unavowed, I think.
Oh, Unavowed.
Julie
I
Park?
think so.
Yes,
so,
Julie
yeah.
I
Park.
believe
know
she
that.
She's an
is.
associate.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I think Frank is too, yeah.
I think so.
Well, yeah, because I know that Julie said she was working with Frank on a project of some kind
Yeah,
of
and I
clickable.
believe that's it. Which is
So, yeah.
awesome. Holy shit, we got
Yeah,
the
we-
three of you guys.
Yeah, we had no idea you were in on that too. That's amazing.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be really, really great. I mean, cinematically, like it's all always done. Their like trademark style is that old retro kind of 8-bit looking style, but super detailed. And this one is visually just so stunning compared to everything. It just keeps getting better and better. The styles that they do.
Oh, small world. What an interesting notion. When does that come out?
He anticipates sometime this summer because we're still wrapping up some of the voiceovers, like mine especially. I think I have one more session left to do. So once he's done editing everything, he expects late summer, but I don't think any official release date yet.
Look forward to it.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Go buy it. Play it. Do it.
Yep. Buy it now or we'll hunt you down and make you buy it.
Honestly, buy it, play it, do it sounds like a fucking really awesome slogan.
Buy it,
Yeah.
play it,
Buy
do
it,
it,
play
fix
it, do it.
Do it.
Trademark.
Right? Yeah. That rolls off the tongue real nice.
Kind of like
I like
Eat,
it.
Pray, Love, except I'm not asleep.
Yeah.
Remind me to trademark that later.
Yeah, no shit.
Buy it, play it, do it again.
That'll be the Frontier Zero slogan.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Buy it, play it, eat it. Yeah.
Play it, eat it.
Watch it, space it.
I don't know, whatever.
erase it.
I forgot what the
Sweet,
slogan was.
Yeah.
That's
No, I
not
like
very
that better.
memorable as a slogan.
Yeah, that's good for
Yeah.
anything. Buy it, then play it, use it, watch it, whatever, and then eat it. I don't care what it is, just eat it.
Yeah, and I'm also destroy the evidence.
Yeah.
Destroy the evidence.
Eat it to gain its power.
Exactly. But right on, that sounds awesome.
Yay.
Yeah,
That
I'm
does.
down for it.
Thank you.
I'm not much of a gamer, but these are the kind of aesthetic things that I'm like, oh shit, I'd be interested in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I may check that out. Yeah.
It's not
But it's
exactly
not-
casual, I wouldn't say, because I feel like that takes on a different set of skills and a different kind of audience, but it is something accessible to pretty much anybody who can jump in, load it up, and just click around. It's fun for everybody.
Do you know what platform is coming out, or Steam, or
It definitely Steam, because they already have you can actually look it up on Steam. They have a store page up. It's just not released yet. I'm not sure if he's going to be releasing it for any consoles, because I don't really recall if any of the previous games they've done have been on consoles, but definitely PC.
Well, that's good, because I am strictly a PC gamer, which means I get it first. Ha ha!
That PC Master Race cred.
Hell yeah.
I have
But
a
be
PS4.
straight with us. Video games aren't all you do. You also do this miraculous, marvelous webcomic dub-over that I absolutely love.
Yay!
Go into that.
Oh, okay. There is this awesome webcomic called Bamongo, which is done by... I love it too. It's done by an artist who goes under the handle Van Heist, but his name is Rob, and he does these awesome comics. It's kind of been like a sandbox of different ideas up until recently, of just whatever he finds funny, and he just throws it against the wall, see what sticks. No real overarching story, no structure, but now he's doing everything in a rework that's kind of reimagining everything and putting everything in an actual plot sort of framework.
Yep.
But even before that, a friend of mine and also a voice actor, Jordan Harrow, under the handle Dead Tom 22, took the comics and just for funsies was like, hey, do you want to help me do this comic dub, because I really like this comic and I think you'd be great for Gogo and possibly even Dee Dee, which are the two of the main characters, who are pretty much not exactly sisters, but they are, they're related. Go read it if you're curious.
They're actually clones!
No! But it's still more of a reason to go read it for the intrigue of that. So I threw him something, and I've been doing it for years now, 3 years or more. And it's gotten really popular because the creator was shown it and fell in love with it. He's always supporting us. He's always giving Jordan the panels that don't have talk bubbles in them, so Jordan can just go crazy. He can just go crazy with the way things are edited, and it's just getting better and better. So if you want to look up Van Heist on his Patreon to support him so that he can continue making this awesome comic, so we can continue doing dubs of it, and maybe even we can make something more of it, that's something to consider. It's fun, it's crazy, big, strong lady, kind of overpowering and just asserting her will over this young coming-of-age man who is very confused about a lot in life.
Hey, we love the kind of woman who can kick our ass.
Exactly.
It is hilarious and just
It's impossible to describe. Just look him up and read Bomango.
awesome. Yeah,
It's amazing.
It is so good. I always have fun with everyone that I do.
Yeah, but it's nice to promote projects like that, because that's how we get the word of mouth out, and
Well, we'd like to do that too, because for those interested, we're trying to promote our damn space case. Lewis, what are we doing to promote it? What are you doing to promote Frontier Zero as well as Bomango, Lewis?
not much.
Exactly.
He's being the best he can be for the space.
He is manning them Twitter
There's
feeds
so
like crazy.
much space.
Well,
It is.
I'm assuming if you're listening to this that you at least are aware of the project by now. We have one episode out, and it's been well received so far, and we hope to make it grow more as we go. Good news for the people waiting on episode 2. It is coming. We're working on it right now. Oh my god. I'm so excited. We're going to introduce all the remaining main characters, and so I just love all the characters so much.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we
It's
also
really good to
released,
animate these characters.
Yeah. Everybody here is a voice actor or involved in some way in the project, and it's great. I mean, Sandra here plays Calavera, who was in episode 1, and if you don't love her, she will kill you.
I will find
that's
you
pretty
and
much-
kill you with my bare hands.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Or her skull. She's really good at that.
That's
Yeah.
terrifying, but in a good way.
Headbutts
Skull
are far more
headbutts.
deadly.
Flaming skulls.
Skull headbutt. That sounds like a Pokemon move. Skull headbutt.
Oh, it's still my favorite
Calavera
part.
used skull headbutt.
Yeah. And our host here, Paul, also plays a character that's... it's definitely one of my favorite characters. Very unique and very... I don't want to say disturbing, but...
It's a giant bug that eats people. What do you think?
It's an homage to Zorak, and I love him so much.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
It's a combination of like that and like my idea of like what if like the xenomorphs of Alien, you know, like they could talk and they try to join civilized society, but they still had that instinct to just do what they do. It's like, I thought that'd be funny.
Sometimes they just want to lay eggs inside you, man. That's all they ever want to do.
Don't judge them. Don't judge them by
Yeah,
your
don't judge
standards.
them. Just try to run away from them, and if you can, but don't judge them.
Yeah. And then there's the main baddie, the baddest of the bad, who my friend here Jason plays. Oh man.
Well,
He's
he's lots of fun to play, so, you know.
Yeah, that guy.
He's so-
He's got
evil.
a fuck of a great visual, so it's probably my favourite
that guy
part.
does not mess around.
No, he don't fuck around.
Nope. He's so evil, he floats around in a giant meteor skull.
That's pretty evil.
Yeah, you're gonna love to
It
hate this
is.
bad guy. He's really good. Looking forward to
like-
working on his scenes.
I-
Oh,
I
yeah.
always
He's actually one of my favorite villains that I've gotten to, because it's one of those things where it's not based on anything previous that you can, like, you know, vocally or anything like that. It's like, he looks like this, and I always prefer, like, original characters to doing something that's more of an impression or something previously established kind of thing. So, I had a lot of fun doing
mean,
that. And the scripts are great, which Lewis does, so that helps.
I do stuff and it's okay, I guess. But I mean, honestly, it's you guys who bring it to
Oh,
life.
humble.
Modesty's
you
not
humble
welcome
bumble.
or
Yeah,
acceptable.
you made an
No,
awesome
no.
show, Lewis. Take a bow.
Leave that at the
Come
door.
on, be a dick about
One thing,
it.
one thing that I will say that I do like doing is that because I've, you know, with the abridged stuff that we've done before, I've gotten to work with many great actors, many who are here right now, and you know, I like. I'm used to writing for people with people in mind, you know. So like I would write Superman with Paul in mind every time, so I know his voice, I know how he would react to certain lines. So when I crafted the original characters that I made for Frontier, I already knew who I wanted each one to play for the most part. So Moray was definitely always intended for Jason because I knew him and him alone could capture that essence that I wanted, you know. I mean, I thought to myself, I want a badass space pirate who just elected himself as the badass space pirate. I'm like, yes.
Jason Marnoka,
Jason
the bad
Marnoka.
guy.
It's a democracy. It's a democracy where he's the only vote.
You know, I thought giant space bug that eats people. Paul, there has to be Paul. I don't know why, but it
Yeah,
has
because
to.
you know
So
how
it's
much you just know how much I love to do that on the weekends. So yeah, I was made for that.
Boy, howdy, I sure do love eating people.
Oh, yeah, just yesterday. Great roast.
sure do love eating.
No, in all seriousness, I chose Paul because I thought Acro had the most unique sense of humor, and so does Paul. You know, I thought that was a match that really...
Shut up! No, I don't. Piss off.
And I mean, Sandra, I told you this before, but Calavera, I literally made that character with you in mind. I had heard a dub of you. I don't remember where. Maybe it was Bomango. I'm not sure what it was, but I remember hearing your voice, and I looked like at your voice acting profile on a page somewhere, and I'm like, she's the one.
Ah!
She's the one.
She'll look great with a skull hat.
Yeah.
That's right.
Trust me.
It's like
If I had access to technically, I do have a friend with a I have two friends who have access to 3D printer technology. I would
Holy
not,
shit,
I
do
would
it.
not be against the idea
Dude.
of
Put some-
cosplaying that.
Put some tequila on it
God, a
and then set it
3D
on
printer.
fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Dude,
totally
a
should get the
3D
helmet made.
printer
That'd
is
be so
currently-
cool. Oh my
right?
god.
That'd be the most metal thing ever, Sandra.
A
Most
3D
metal
printer is
thing.
literally making dreams come true.
Oh yes, that's definitely up there on my dream cosplay list. Then I'll have to call in a few
Absolutely
favors.
do that.
Yeah, no, it's doable. I mean, with
Yeah,
a white cloak, poncho thing. What do you call that?
I'm
Yeah,
going
I think
poncho.
ponchos. Yeah, poncho
I
sounds
kind
right.
of like I based it on like Clint Eastwood and those like old West movies where he had this sort of cape poncho.
Oh yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like, you know, something like that. But no, yeah, it's
Yeah, poncho thing I think sounds right.
Yeah.
it rains so much dust in the West that, you have
She's
to
one of the few characters that is
wear a poncho.
Calavera is one of the few that I think is cosplayable. I mean, all of them are.
You could
technically.
cosplay as Emma.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I've seen people reach the extra
dude,
mile, but
some of these people get pretty elaborate.
Yeah, go to a convention and you'd be amazed at all the lengths they go to make such awesome cosplay.
I mean, you got to understand. There are some people that do this for a living. They get their pictures taken as characters, and they design characters for a living. So you'd be amazed what they can get away
I've
with.
seen a few.
I wouldn't even put it past them.
To be fair, that's true. I've seen some incredible things in the world of cosplaying. It's just I never thought about it when I designed them. So I'm just like looking at them now, like I hope people can do that because these are complicated.
Trust me, I've been to enough cons to know that there's really nothing that people can't
If
wear.
anybody can pull off
Same.
acro, I mean, if I one day, assuming this takes off and it becomes popular, and somebody literally pulls off an acro cosplay, I will hug them and give them a medal. I'll have like a medal made out for best cosplay right there because that's.
Totally, and then I'll present the medal, and then while they're distracted, I'll steal the costume for my own use.
So you go around and it's like, hey, baby. But yeah, it's
It'd be a
been
great
very
seduction
lucky
method.
to work with such talented people that to give them such diverse, input and creativity. And yeah, it's a small project, with very humble beginnings, but like every other we're talking about, it's like you do it and you keep doing it and you hope people notice it and people like it and they support you and help you grow and you grow with it. And, you never know what the future is. I mean, 2 years ago...
As long as we tweet and promote it, it should... we're hoping to get a good following going.
Yeah, 2 years ago, just before I started doing it, I never thought I would ever be able to do it. I was always like, one day in the future, I'll hopefully do something original. I'd love to. And then... some things just presented themselves. I took it, and here we are, and
One day.
So yeah, just
That
hopefully
was lovely.
keep watching it, and
thanks.
we also have a comic out, the first one of many. I hope the comic was tricky. I've never done a comic before, but
I love that comic.
Oh, you read it?
Aw, thank you. We're actually pretty proud of it. It is pretty boss.
It is awesome looking. The art and just getting to see the background of the character. That is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. That comic did kind of get me up on Team Lily. I really, really dig Lily's character now after having read
Lily
it.
was probably
So
my most
sassy.
personable character. I have to say that's why I wanted to get her out of the way first. But
Aw.
There's a reason why she's the captain.
yeah, she is the Capitan,
Yeah.
And if we get enough funds, if people, start donating to the Patreon and stuff, I will do more chapters. I want to do one with the backstory of each main character. I want to do one for Calavera, one for Acro, one for More, one for everybody. I mean, God willing,
Oh, that's right, because we do
willing.
have that concept art of young Moray with somebody else, right? Don't we have that?
Well,
Ooh.
that's spoilers, but
He's just
No.
That's why I
who
said
cares?
somebody else,
Somebody.
you dingus. Christ.
It's
not a
cares at
spoiler
this
if I
point?
don't say what the fuck.
fair enough.
These
Fair
guys
enough.
are
Yeah, it's
moray
like-
with
You're the one who
colonel.
just said it was a spoiler. This is your fault, Lewis.
Yeah, and besides, you're talking about a spoiler of an image that we can't really show because this is a podcast. So
I guess
Exactly,
you're
so
right,
what
you're
the
right,
fuck?
It's not really a
Everyone
spoiler.
gang up on Lewis.
Yeah, of course I'm right.
that's our favorite
It's not
sport.
really much of a spoiler to say a character was young once, so...
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh god.
I mean,
don't
I
look at
wasn't
this
young
picture.
ever, but I'm sure he
Jason was born with
So-
his beard and goatee combo.
I did. I came out of the womb and I was like, "Can I have a cigar?" Oh, hi, mother.
Yeah.
This is life.
He was-
It's stupid. Moving
He was
on.
born with that beard.
Yep. That was it.
Oh man, I could talk about.
He came out with
I
the
could talk
beard
about Jason's beard for the
and the
remainder of
scotch.
this.
Oh my.
Well, you see, I mean,
But
when he gets his hands on enough good scotch, it grows out. All of that just grows.
Whoosh.
yeah, no,
Beard
there's
that launched
Whoosh.
1,000 ships.
Yep.
But yeah, just to finish that point, yeah, there is a backstory for everybody, and there's, I would love to write and have
Yeah.
somebody help me draw them out because I can't draw. That's not my gift. There are much more talented people out there. I can't draw the bathroom sign with the little stick dude. I can't do that. I know my limit. I know
Well
my
said.
limitations, and I accept them.
I know that.
I mean, I guess that's good, but the fact of the matter is, at least you have a good idea down. I mean, there are plenty of people who can't draw who try, and it's, it may not be what they want, but at least they're doing it. Just because you can't draw doesn't mean you can't conceptualize.
Oh no, yeah. No, obviously, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I know where I like to specialize and work more, like with the writing and producing and all that stuff. So, I'm not a voice actor. That's why I reach out to people like you, because you know what you're doing and you're really good at it. And it just, I don't know, it just really, it's hard to describe the experience of hearing somebody bring a character you wrote to life. It's just very satisfying.
It's like watching birth.
Yeah, in a way. I mean,
Vocal
to a
birth.
degree, but
See, I thought you were going to go with it's like watching birds, and I'm like, oh, where's this going to go? What the hell?
It's like watching birds. There's a lot of squawking involved, and eventually it just flies away without notice and shits on your car.
A lot of flapping, a lot of
Yeah.
shit.
Yep.
That's the process.
It's a long and arduous process. Make sure to bring seed.
yes. But yeah, so that's what's going on with us, and like I said, hopefully you'll keep watching, help us out, and the future is what we make it.
Adventures in space and stuff. Anthony, aren't you constantly working on something?
Let's see. Well, since when I'm not busy editing things, I'm busy making animations. Right now, I have gotten several scenes done for Frontier, and it's looking amazing. I really do like these characters, and I'm really trying to bring my A game for this because I want to introduce these characters right.
Bring your S game. Somehow S is superior to A. I've never been clear why, but yeah.
And the letters, we don't know how they work.
Superior to A.
Super special.
Oh,
I love that word.
But yeah, in addition to that, I have also been getting into voice acting. About a few months ago, a friend of mine, Belshipper, he helped me make a demo reel. Like, he wrote a script, I did the lines, and he helped mix them and provide the music for them, and everyone says it sounds great. And ever since I put it out there, I've just been doing more and more auditions. In fact, a few days ago, I auditioned for a project from Jello Apocalypse. You know, the guy who does the So This Is Basically series?
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of
Yeah,
him.
really funny stuff. It's, of course, since it was a public audition, there was like 100 people looking at that document, so I don't think I'll get it. But I have fun doing it. Like, I really like trying new voices, just having fun on my awesome new microphone. I finally got an XLR mic, and the quality is so much better.
Oh yeah.
Very nice. It's like people underestimate just having a different kind of mic can make all the
I
difference.
know, like,
it's just
on my old Samson, it could do a decent job. Like, I had to set up my environment to be perfect if I wanted to record anything, but it's a lot easier with the XLR. I can't go back to. I only use the USB for having fun and talking with friends, but
you're ruined. You can't go back. There is no going back.
but for professional stuff, for auditions, I gotta go XLR all the way now.
Absolutely, and then like you have so much more control over the quality. Like sometimes with a lot of plug and play mics, that's it, and you don't have too many like customization options to them. But if you in real time as you're recording, if you feel something's a little off, you can get that feedback from an XLR mic if you have like the right kind of interface, and it's just
Soundboxes
so
are
much
amazing.
less. Yeah, it's just so much less work in the long run. Like you're investing in like a better work experience overall.
It's
I mean,
definitely gonna pay off.
I'm not the right person to talk about mics, but I love my Snowball. It's never let me down.
There's nothing wrong with the Snowball. Blue
It
makes
has its
really good
uses.
mics.
They do. Blue is an excellent company.
This baby has been with me
The
for a
raspberry is
while.
one I want to try. I'm recording on a Yeti right now, and I've had it for like
Yeti- oh.
years.
The Yetis are always.
So you're one of the few people that can make a Yeti work, because I don't know if I'm allergic to them, but they just cannot work with me.
Some of my
I don't know
friends have
why.
had trouble with Yetis. Just
What, they
for one
explode
reason
or
or
what?
another.
There are some people that can do them and some people that can't, and I just don't get how they sound so good when I suck at it. Yetis and me don't mix. I don't know why.
One of the problems is that they have a lot of like self noise, which can throw you off if you're listening to yourself through one, because you get this hum, and then you're just like, "Is that my environment? Is that the mic?" There's a lot going on with the Yeti, and
That's a good point.
It's a problem sometimes. It gets in the ways, but for a podcast like this, for like a quickie audition, but it's not reflective of the true audio quality, and I'm traveling. The Yeti's awesome. It's like a tank.
Nice.
Tank is a good way to put it, actually.
It's
That is.
oof.
But
It's a force.
I mean, if you can afford a perfectly soundproof booth, and you got all the resources, go for it. But
If you're Jason, who has this awesome voice recording environment.
I envy.
Hello.
I envy.
Hello,
It's
I'm
true.
sitting in it right now. In fact.
Our
seen
living
the
room
pictures.
is basically a sound studio. Yeah, our entire living room is basically one big sound studio.
Yeah, it's the booth. The booth is sitting there, dunk, right in front of the sofa. Yep.
so you can watch some
And it's
TV,
good
or you
people.
can record some lines.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, or
both
both.
at the same time if we're feeling
yeah.
adventurous.
Yup.
If you position it,
Yeah, we were
right.
just thinking today. Let's get Paul in here and throw together a demo for him and stuff. And that reminds me, I need to get Frank in here for the thing. So I need to remember to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't forget the
Yeah.
thing.
I know. I was speaking in Lewis speak. That's why
I'm
I.
responding.
Don't
in
forget,
me speak.
the thing. Yeah,
This is,
the
I was
thing.
going to say, that's how we communicate with you. Be as vague as possible, details are the devil, and make sure to use a lot of impractical words like he and thing and stuff and it.
Julie, do the thing.
Is there any other way?
Yeah. There's plenty of other ways.
It's funny because if you consider being like as vague as possible, it's like now I picture Lewis being like, "Hey, good morning," and you're just kind of like, "Yes,"
Yeah, but
and that's the end of it because that's really as vague as you can possibly be. You're not wishing them well, so they can't tell your mood. You're not wishing them poorly either.
I
You're
mean, my
like, "It is a
typical-
morning." Well
We got
done.
no
typical response to
information from
is,
that, so
what's
yes.
good about it, but that's
Yeah,
just...
right.
They exaggerate, but I do tend to have a.
Oh, no, we're not exaggerating anything.
I don't know what to call
Never
it.
in my life have I exaggerated anything, ever.
No,
Not once.
not once. I'm the king of
What
unexaggerated.
about that time we
Indeed.
had lunch?
True, he has a
and the
crown.
sandwich
A
was
crown.
too big.
There's never.
Alrighty then.
There's never a sandwich that's.
What are you talking about?
Best I could come up
There's
with.
never a sandwich
make
that's
sh-
too big.
Yeah, I'll make sure to note that down for what the fuck did he just
I was
say?
like, "Is this a story? Is this a
Yeah.
bit? What happened? Do I
I was
roll
trying
with
to-
this?
I was
What are
waiting
you
for the
talking
punchline.
The
about?"
answer, Jason, is yes.
Yes,
The only
See,
thing you
he's
need to
learning.
know is that the sandwich was too big. That's it.
apparently.
Okay.
It's like it's like when the spoon's too big. Like sometimes
A spoon's
that's
too
just how
big.
it is. Sometimes it's the old internet.
This is how we communicate
Yeah.
for real.
Oh my
Those
god.
gosh darn interwebs.
Yeah, we speak in memes and references. Kind of like Big Bang Theory, except you actually laugh.
Up,
I hate Big Bang Theory so much.
whoop, there it is.
Whoops.
Here's the joke. It's not. I'm just saying something nerdy.
You ever watch that video where it's the Big Bang Theory but without the laugh track?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
That
appropriate.
is so...
Exactly, because it's
Somehow
like,
that's
oh
funnier.
look, yeah. Now you see how exactly. Like if they had just done it that way, I'd probably be like, this show's hysterical. It's all
Right?
non sequiturs and nothing makes sense.
It's just... Yeah. It's just funny. Like, if you added something like someone coughing after a joke or maybe
Exactly,
a
yeah. I'd be
sneeze.
completely with the audience. Like they
Yeah.
don't even respond to the applause cue. They're just kind
Yeah.
of like,
Or even a sarcastic laugh, like someone gets done telling a joke and they go, ha!
yeah, yep,
Yeah, like,
exactly.
yeah. Or, there's always the
Yes.
classic crickets. That would be welcome.
So, what about you, our fearless host? What do you have cooking up? Talk.
Fearless Paul.
Your turn.
Me? What do I have cooking up? My
I don't
project.
fucking know. That's the question.
Well, there's really only one word for it. Robots.
I'm
That's
in.
all I'm going to say about it.
Good old robots.
It's robots.
He's joining Skynet.
Not in disguise. Not in disguise. Not Skynet. Just robots. More on that later. It's a passion project I've had for a very long time, since before I actually even met any of you.
Oh yeah,
Never
you
had a
told us
chance to
about
make
that.
it.
I know. I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yes, it's. I've had the concept art done for quite a while. I'm still making stuff up for it. It originally started as a video game, and then I realized I can't make those. So then it was going to become a webcomic, and then I realized I can't do that either. I don't have the patience. So then I got the brilliant idea of making it a web series that someone else will animate because my ass is too lazy.
Yo.
Yes, it will probably be you. And yes, I have this to give you. It's
In
robots.
the sky. I'm sorry, I can't.
Very cute robots.
Do we have a transformer with us right now? Don't we?
We do have a transformer.
do.
Actually, no, we have a
have a-
Shit,
Decepticon.
I've
A
been called
Decepticon.
out. That
A
was
Decepticon.
that was a fuck of a segue. Wow. Nice. Nice.
Well, you know.
Holy
We do have a
shit.
Transformer in the group. He's not only a Transformer, he is the Transformer, the leader of the Decepticon faction.
Ex-leader of the
The
Decepticons.
master of sass.
He's been banished, remember? Yes.
Honestly, he comes and goes. The leadership of that tribe kind of switches every now and again, depending
That
on
is
who's
true.
died.
You know, they vote a lot of people off the island, but at the end of the day, Jeff Probst isn't in charge, so
Yeah.
fuck him. He's not a Transformer at all, so
No.
dang fleshies. Yeah, so Transformers, Roberts Underskurs, fucking, oh, I had a thought and it went, okay, there it is. All right, so, Transformers, right? Yeah, the third chapter of the Prime Wars trilogy is coming out next month.
Nice.
We have the trailer is set to drop at the end of this month,
So then I can finally talk about it.
which will be nice. I'm super excited to see how it all turns out because, of course, as we saw at the end of last season, last chapter, there's a big like legal definition differentiation of terms there. They are chapters, not seasons. So the last chapter,
Last time on Transformers.
the last
Book
time
2,
I got
Oil.
to have a couple of scenes with a scene with friggin' Mark Hamill, who is my voiceover idol, so because he plays Megatronus in the series, and so he's in it for the third series as well, along with Ron Perlman is also in it.
Pearly
So
Rodman.
many cool. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Working with
So
all
many
of the
people that I
veterans,
like
that is
admire
so cool.
greatly. Oh, it's nuts. I'm like just like that's exactly what I'm
Well,
doing.
then,
I'm just kind of
Jason-
like this is dumb and
the
awesome.
fanboy
I'm so
out.
I'm
I'm just gonna
yeah.
say
I'm
that
so
in that case,
stupidly excited.
It's full of people that I admire, including you.
Aw.
I just really wanted to say that. Sorry, you know I love the heartfelt.
That was very sweet. Yeah. So Transformers is this is going to wrap up the Prime Wars trilogy. I can't really say anything about it at the moment, other than it looks like it's going to be pretty great, and I am excited.
Can you confirm
try-
that there will be robots?
Yes.
Good God.
There you go.
Spoilers!
Can you confirm that they will transform?
No.
Wow, really?
Shit.
Plot twist.
Because I
No.
don't know.
Twist
I
right
mean,
there.
maybe they do. Actually, one of my favorite things about this whole thing is that, of course, we all know that, like, G1 stuff, well, we all didn't know. I didn't know this, but I found out after I joined the show, is that Megatron classically turns into a gun and is wielded by someone else, which I remember at one point... that was compared to like the equivalent of Darth Vader turning into his lightsaber and someone else swinging him around.
That would be a
So
fun
it's just
toy.
it's just a visually odd sort of thing. I mean, it's really cool to see Starscream and him work together. Like that's one of my favorite parts about it. Because he usually transforms into the gun and hops into Starscream's hands, and Starscream is like pachoo, and that's that. But which is awesome. But in the Prime Wars trilogy line of toys and stuff, Megatron turns into a tank, which I always thought was way more fitting. Like I always thought
Yep.
that fit him a little better. He turns into this big old tank with a big old long gun on the front and what have you. So I enjoy that very much. And I actually do have I have the Combiner Wars toy because that was the first chapter. I don't have the Titans Return one, and I don't think Megatron is supposed to be in the Prime Wars, the Power of the Primes third chapter release of toys. I don't think they have a Megatron figure, which is
Oh,
sad.
that's
But yeah, I'm a
blasphemy.
toy,
I
which
want to
is
collect
weird.
them all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If it's
But
a-
mean,
I do
the
have
whole
the
purpose
Combiner
of
Wars figure, and the Combiner Wars figure is actually really awesome. But the trouble is, I lost the instructions, so he's stuck as a tank. Sorry, Megatron. But you look real cool,
Is that a
so
Rubik's
I'll
Cube?
deal
Yeah,
with
but
it.
he's though we
Just
know
eternally
an expert.
stuck as a tank.
Well, we
Yep.
no, not eternally, because as it turns out, we are actually friends with a toy expert who can actually work with it and make him right again.
Oh yeah. Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. That's Megatron in tank mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my spiel. I'm having fun with that. I did also. Damn it, I can't talk about it. Crap. There's a lot of things I'm not allowed to talk about, but I will say that I did an anime recently again on my way to LA, which was delightful, and I really can't wait to talk about that one because it was a crap load of fun.
Nice.
So it was a fun
so,
anime.
Yeah, just Oh yeah.
Are you?
Yep, I can't wait to see anything to do with you in anime. Just kind of makes me go, wow, I gotta see this shit.
I remember seeing Real Rainbow Gate, so yes, you do good anime.
Oh yeah, Rio Rainbow Gate. Yeah. That one was. I still have the DVD. I haven't watched it in its entirety, but I did buy the DVD, and I want to check it out at some point. Paul, we should do that tonight.
Absolutely.
Yes, marathon.
I wanted to do that
Awesome.
too, man.
Yeah. Well, come on over, everyone. Come over.
Next
Yeah,
time
come
we hang
on.
out, you got to show me that at least one episode. I really want to see what you in anime looks like.
Of course, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Well, like, you know,
It's
you've
actually-
seen the guy. He wears sunglasses at night, so that's perfect. And the weird thing is, though, he's blonde and he's clean-shaven, so he doesn't really look like me.
Well, that's most anime.
Yeah, but
it's
he's-
really weird to see.
Yeah,
a
but
with
he's
a
in-
beard in anime these days.
I was just gonna say he's an anime character, so not a lot of facial hair.
Unless they're evil,
Yeah.
and then obviously all
Yes.
the facial hair
Oh,
and in weird shapes.
Exactly.
Facial
Yes,
hair,
if
weird
you're
shapes,
evil.
and a
You
cape.
can't have a beard.
If
and
you're
not
evil,
be
you got a
evil,
beard.
At least in anime. maybe like a dotting grandfather
Exactly.
that could work, but
Oh yeah.
Well, no. See,
But yeah,
see, the-
that's my
Actually,
spiel.
what-
That's what I'm into these days. Oh! I forgot. Recently, Regalia of Men and Monarchs, one of the video games that I did, one of the indie games that I did a bit ago. At this point, it just got released for. It's already on Steam, but it just got released for let's see, the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and maybe something else. But yeah, it's all on a whole bunch of consoles now. I forgot that we did
if I
that.
recall,
Yeah, which is pretty rad, and I'm like, I kind of want to play that on a console.
if I recall, you play like a big suit of armor, right?
Yeah, I do.
He
yeah,
plays
I
a
play a
haunted
ghost,
suit of armor.
a ghost inhabiting an old suit of
Perfect.
armor. Yeah.
Alphonse
and
Elric.
I have played the game. It is fun, but I suck at it. You know what? You got to be a master of RPGs because it's a character-based game, and the characters are all a ton of fun. But you can't suck at RPGs, or else you won't get to hear enough of them. And that was my problem. I played the game just so much to hear Jason's stuff, but after that, I kind of lose, and I can't get back into it.
I am the
Bad
tipping
one.
point.
Play it only for the Jason social link.
Yeah. No, I got far enough to where where they introduced Jason's character, but I lose almost immediately after that because there's so much crap you got to do, and it's like the game holds you hostage. Like you can't hear the rest of these voice actors you know unless you're good at this kind of thing. I suck.
You lose! Good
Only
day,
the
sir!
Only the strong are worthy of hearing these voice actors.
No, only people who are nerdy enough to know everything about RPGs, and I'm not. I suck. I'm a noob. I'm a casual PC gamer.
I haven't
I
played an
just
RPG
want to
in
hear
years,
my
man.
friends. Yeah. But no, it is a fun game. If you haven't tried it, check it out. You're going to love the characters. They're a ton of fun.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
It's
So
fun
yeah,
as shit.
that's my spiel, and watch Frontier Zero.
Do it!
Okay, we're watching.
Right now.
When the bad guy of the series tells you to watch it, you better watch it, or bad things will happen.
just leave it on
That's
repeat
right.
until the next episode comes out.
Yeah.
Just keep watching
Watch
it
the
forever,
entire
Brian.
thing.
Find
over and
different
over
computers
again.
and keep watching it on those computers so that the view count.
I want no less than 5 monitors at a
That's
time.
I
right.
did want to ask, Sandra, I did want to ask you about a project. I'm not sure which one it is, but I remember you posted this a while ago that you were playing the character of America Chavez somewhere.
Oh yeah, that was a bit ago, but they've done they've brought back the character in that time for people who didn't get to quote unquote capture but unlock them the first time around. It's Avengers Academy by
okay.
Oh yeah.
yeah
I've seen that.
Oh,
by
my.
Tiny Co, and it's really fun. What was a joy about that is because one of my longtime best friends from high school, who's still like a brother to me now, and he's always supported me in my voiceover and stuff. But we fell out of touch for a little bit because he was out in like Rochester, like really far out there. But he's always been this huge DC nerd, like. Oh my! I'm sorry. Not just general comic nerd, Marvel, DC, like just in general, but mostly Marvel. And he had a few favorite characters, and one of them was America Chavez. So and he used to talk to me about her like back in high school, or not high school, I guess, but like in this in our traditional period, like being away from each other during college. He was like, "Oh yeah, this character's so great. She's like this, she's like that, she's so badass, and she's." This or that, and he looked up to her because like not only is she Latina but she's also queer, and that's one of the few characters that he can relate to. So when it came out, I was just like, oh God, what's going to happen when I tell him? And I informed him via text, and I can't tell you how many emojis that were in that response text.
You made his day, huh?
I can,
That's
I can
delightful.
understand that. I mean, I love America Chavez. When I read Young Avengers, you know, that was my first introduction. And I mean, when I heard that you were playing her, like, you're playing a character that shares my name. My name is America, by the way.
It's so great, and it's like, wow, like, and when I was when I auditioned and I got the callback for it, and I heard all the rest of the details, I'm like, wait a minute, I know who this character is now that I'm seeing the script in full. Oh my God, this is like this is a big deal. And then I went in and I looked out and I looked it over, and it, other than like a one line in like a Lego game earlier, there had been no other like animated. Now that's going to change, and that kind of makes me like sour grapes. But there had been no other animated or voiced versions of America Chavez, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so fun. This is great because I know so many people who love this character, and I really want to do it justice. So that was a cool moment for me to get that.
Absolutely, you know, and you know, if the character keeps getting more popular, so if they do another animated series or movie or something, I mean, you never know. They're like, we have a voice actress for her, right? Yeah, let's bring her in.
Hopefully. I mean, it was a mobile game, so, like, but it's a really popular mobile game. Like, a lot of people that I knew already had it and played it, so when I brought it up casually to them, they're like, oh my God, I play that! Oh my God, yes! And I'm like, really? This is... Because I'm not too huge in the mobile game scene. Like, I play a lot of PC indie games, but in terms of mobile, I have a shitty phone, so it doesn't have a lot of space for a lot of games. When a new game comes out that I want to try, I have to end up, like, deleting something. Because I don't have enough space.
I hear that. This might be a dumb
There's
question.
never
I
enough
don't know if this is
space.
a dumb question, so if I'm wrong, ignore me. But is this the kind of game where you had the characters like announce their attack?
I think it was more like turn-based, and I don't think that they announced attacks. No.
Oh, okay. I was going to
What
ask
is
you
this,
what.
Naruto? Jeez.
Some of them do. Some of them do. It's pretty common.
No, I get that. Like some of the RPG, like I did the beta voices for this other mobile game where they did do that, where they called out like Soul Slayer mode and things like that, and really
exactly.
corny things like that. But for Avengers Academy in particular, I think it was more like a turn-based thing where you collect items, you fulfill quests, you unlock heroes, but the actual voice work was just what are they called? They're in like Heroes of the Storm, where you keep clicking poke lines. So anytime you go back to the character and select them, they'll have a new thing to say just because you selected them. That kind of voice work.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I remember. I have a few friends who voiced in that game, and I keep meaning to play it because I love DC and Marvel, but I keep thinking like, oh man, I really want to audition for that, but then I'm like, oh, everyone's so young sounding. But then I'm like, wait, if they do Doctor Doom,
Oh yeah.
yes, please. So I'm like keeping my eyes out for that. I'm like, oh, I hope so. Oh dear me.
That'll be
For
so.
those of you who don't know, Lord Jazer here is a magnanimous, magnificent, huge Doctor Doom fan.
I am, yes. I love me some Doctor Doom. So I would be delighted to, it's just, what platforms does that go for again? That's Steam, is it? Or no? No.
For
Is it?
Avengers Academy, I think it's strictly.
Yeah, what is
I think
that?
it's strictly mobile, so it's just
You're right, it is
tablet
strictly
and
mobile. I'm sorry.
phones. But
Yeah.
they cram a lot of gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
into-
Like, I keep seeing that they keep putting characters and characters and characters and characters, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all about the variety,
Yeah, so that was
baby.
my thought. Well, I have a telephone, so I will have to a telephone.
One of
I can do it on my wall,
Did you
right?
hear me
Yeah.
back there?
It's like the younger generation.
those
Yeah, right.
rotary
Generation
audio
literally
devices.
does not understand the
Exactly.
word telephone.
Yes,
Is that next
I
to
will-
your mimeograph?
Of course,
Can I
right
get it on
next
my
to the
beeper?
phonograph
Is
over
that like
there,
the-
where we play
Yeah.
records
Pager
and
can't
dance
pick
all
it
night.
up.
Is that like the book you
Yeah.
always tell me about? Like the books?
It's right next to your talking machine.
Yeah. What's a book? Who did that?
It's
Who put that there?
it's like a iPad that you turn pages.
Boring.
Yup.
It's words that you touch. It's words that you pick up and touch and flip.
Words what you touch.
Oh, my God.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I should have said
It's exactly.
It's an iPad
It's
made out of a
witchcraft.
tree.
Nah.
It's physical witchcraft.
Speaking of Doctor Doom, Jason, didn't you? Well, he's not Doctor Doom, but he's like our favorite choice to be Doctor Doom. Didn't you like host him recently?
Oh yes, this last weekend I got to moderate a panel for Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, so cool.
Yes,
Awesome.
and one of my favorite actors, and he is a super sweet guy, and really really chill.
And Danish.
Yeah, and Danish. So yeah, basically, a couple of my friends ran Silicon Valley Comic Con this last weekend or the weekend. No, it was last weekend. And one of them was like, "Hey, so we have a bunch of awesome guests like David Tennant and Kristen Ritter and all these crazy guests." And they were like, "And also we have Mads Mikkelsen. Are you interested in perhaps moderating his panel?" And I'm like, "What? Why? What? No, what?
Is this a dream?
No,
Did I stroke
Yeah,
out just
No, I
now?
because it's
hate
just
the
like
idea.
yeah, because it's just one of those things where like you never assume that you're going to meet these actors you very much admire, and so yeah, she was like, yeah, he's got a panel on Sunday in the afternoon. I wondered if you wanted to moderate it, and I'm like, okay, never moderated a panel before, but I'm sure I can do it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then as the con went on like Sunday, she texted me again because I knew that evening I had to do the panel, and she was like, "You've introduced yourself to Mads, right?" And I'm like, "No, am I allowed to do that?"
Can I?
Oh, okay.
Am I allowed to breathe?
Yeah,
the same air
yeah,
as
and she
him?
was like, "Yeah, just get some rapport going, and just be like, hey, introduce yourself and stuff. That way, it's not just total meeting at the last minute." And I'm like, "Right on, okay." So I did. I went up to his booth. I was like, "Hey, I'm Jason. I'm moderating your panel and stuff." And he was just like, "Jason, nice to meet you." He has a very firm handshake, as you might expect. And basically, then I sort of explained the previous thing about like, they told me to come up and see you, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "What happened to your voice?" No, and he was just like, "Yeah, before all this, I was a normal person, so I'm glad you could talk to me like one." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got you." And so I just sort of laid out the, he's really funny, and so we just sort of laid out the idea of, I'm going to ask you some questions for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we're going to turn it over to the audience, and it should be great. And so that evening when I went out and did that, I basically introduced him. He came and sat down, but when he came out, because there were two chairs on the stage, and I was sitting in one, I introduced him. He came out, and he sits down, but he comes out. I had just seen them miking him up before I went in, and he comes out wearing a flower crown, like a lot of people draw Hannibal wearing from the Hannibal show. Like a lot of fan art involves he and Will wearing flower crowns. I don't fully understand it, but that's what people do, and so he comes out wearing that because he supports his fans, and he's awesome. And he was just super cool, and like I said, just a really chill guy, like a really calming presence. And the first question I asked him, I was like, okay, so the first time I ever saw you was Casino Royale, where he plays Le Chiffre, the villain. And I told him, I remember my first thought being, oh, this guy should play Dr. Doom. Oh, he'd be so good. And then he goes, I said something about, like, your delivery is so kind of smooth and oily and all these things. And, like, it's so slick. It works really well for a villain. And he just goes, oh, you mean like this? And he just zooms in and does this really low voice, and I'm like,
Cool.
Dr. Doom! Like, oh, God. And so it was just so cool, and that's one of the weirder experiences I've ever had, and just, oh, my God, he's a super cool guy, and I wish him all the good continued good fortune in the world.
Usually, he always gets typecast as villain sometimes, but, I love that he's such the opposite of what, he's typecasted.
Oh, absolutely. I always find that a lot of, without sounding self-congratulatory, but I find that a lot of people who play villains are, like, super chill and goofy and shit. So, I don't know why. Like, Ian McDiarmid, he was at the con as well, and he's super silly and, not at all like Palpatine. So, that's delightful. Yeah, I find a lot of the villain-playing actors tend to be the ones who are like, we get our demons out, so we just kind of chill,
I mean, think of any famous villains you can, and you know in real life that they're really lively and energetic, and they always have,
Look at Mark.
I think it's because they get to be the exact opposite of who they are. Like they get to become a completely different person, and they embrace that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indulge.
I mean, like one of my
And yes, I agree, Lewis. Look at Mark Hamill. You're absolutely
Luke
right.
Skywalker, one
He's a
of
great
the
example.
nicest looking character. I mean, not looking and like just what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's just a nice guy. You know, you root for him. He's like good.
He's a good old boy.
Exactly, he's a good old boy. But then he made the most iconic.
He's a good old
He's
boy.
played one of the most iconic villains of all time, the Joker. You know, for years now, decades even. And it's like the performance is always so chilling, but then you see him, you know, in real life, and he's just like the sweetest man. And it's like,
How do you summon
Yup.
that?
Yeah.
Right? Ugh.
How do you summon your inner Fire Lord? How do you bring him out?
Now we're sounding like Jiminy Glick. We're just like, what do you do? You know?
What do you do?
What's under the hood?
What is it? What's the secret? What I...
So when you play the Joker, what do you do? You know?
Jiminy Glick, oh.
Don't we all? He was the best. Oh, Martin
was
Short was so
hilarious.
genius. Oh my God. Sometimes I go on YouTube and just watch them and just lose my absolute shit.
Well, just the amount of times he moves around in his seat as he's expressing himself. Is just,
Oh yeah, and he falls
Yeah.
over himself and fucking. Oh my God.
It's like, how do you sit down, dude?
Yup.
It reminds me of like a proto Eric Andre show, like primordial.
Yes.
The the roots of
Yeah, you're
how
right.
what that eventually evolved into is just
Oh,
talk
God,
shows
yes.
that devolve into madness.
Oh, you mean like Oprah? Yeah, I mean... yeah. Both literally and figuratively.
yeah, I mean, we all got to make money somehow. With her, is Tom Cruise on the sofa.
Yeah, oh no.
You know, I
Well, we all
finally
gotta make
just
money
watched
somehow.
that. When it was out and it was news, I'd never actually seen it. And I only just watched it the other day on a whim because I was just like, it came up or someone made a joke about it in some video or something. I was like, I never saw that. And I finally watched it and I was like, good God, he's like launching into space. Like, no wonder everyone was so fucking up about how weird this was. Like, this is really weird. I completely
not that-
agree.
Yep.
So,
Not that it
it's
lasted. I,
really-
think they
I mean-
divorced like a few years ago, right?
oh no, it wasn't 2 years. it
No,
was
this
several
was
years
a
ago at
long
this
time
point.
ago.
Yeah, it was several years. I'm
Super
very
long,
late to
yeah.
this particular party, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's like before
No, I
memes
just mean like,
became
I mean, that
mainstream.
was. No, I mean, I just know. This was a long time ago. Just meaning that was about his relationship with Katie Holmes and how they were going to get married and something, and now
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it didn't work.
Well, yeah, his relationship with Katie Holmes and Caddy Holmes, absolutely. But no, I mean, it's not the
Caddy
first
Holmes
time
is her
he's
when
been
she's in her sarcastic mood.
correct.
I still like her in Batman Begins. I don't care what anybody says.
You know what? I do too. And that's the end of that. Anyway.
And we were talking about typecasting with Matt Mikkelsen, and like the actors get usually like, oh, he was really good as a villain, or he was really good as this British guy, or something like that. And after that, I mean, Jason, Sandra, you guys are being around in the voice acting world. Do you feel like you get typecasted a lot for something?
Yeah. But like, I feel like typecasting has like a negative connotation to it, and I feel like it's really more of a neutral term for a problem for a thing that could be either a problem or it could just be really just the way of things and a godsend in some instances. So, well, I think that yes, there are things that I will, like, I'll look at some sides and I'll think to myself, okay, there's this one, this one, this one. And then there's this one. And I could audition for all of them, and I should audition for all of them. But my gut tells me, and all the stars and planets tell me, and my spirit guide tells me that I'm probably going to get cast in this one because it's either A, a maternal figure, B, some kind of like grizzled mentor figure who's like a badass and like tough militant kind of stick to your guns person, or the last option, which would be, do they need to speak a natural Spanish native speaker accent? And those tend to be the brackets that I'll end up like thinking, yeah, this is a for sure thing, or at least thinking, if I don't get this, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I try not to think in those terms, just because it's not good to like limit yourself that way. You gotta shoot at everything. But sometimes there are things that definitely I'm like, is it a mom? Okay, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Well, there's nothing wrong with stepping out of your comfort zone.
No.
Like when I've been doing, on the auditions I've been trying so many roles that I would never think of, and I have some new voices that I really want to try out for parodies, so Again, good things can happen to you.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I get what you're saying. I mean, like typecasting can be a blessing because it means steady roles. You know.
It can be.
I, for one, am sick and tired of being cast as a giant talking bug. Lewis, you knew I didn't want to, and you did it anyway. Screw you, man.
Well, it's okay. Look, next time I'll cast you as a non-talking bug. How about that?
Fine. Wait, what? Hey, that was a dig, wasn't
you
it?
know, I feel guilty because Sandra, I've casted you as A and C. I haven't gotten to B yet, but maybe I should just complete the trifecta. You know.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, the thing of it is, some people hate that about their performances, or feel like it shields or prevents people from seeing what else they have to offer. For me, I just sort of feel like, well, I have fun doing all three of these things, so it's just an opportunity for me to have fun with it. And there's also the issue of just having the confidence to know that, yes, these are likelihoods, but I know it's not all I'm capable of. And I've proven that to myself in the past, where, like, I'll have roles like this animated series I'm doing from this artist, Meridian Culpepper, who is doing... oh gosh, it's called Benefactor. I feel like I just got her last name wrong because we only ever call her Meridian in context, so I'll have to look into that. But when I got the sides for it, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try out for this one because this is a proper older person and they're supposed to have a British accent and they're like in their 40s. So let's try this. It's a patient of some kind. And it was a small part. And I'm like, this is probably like my best bet. Let's put the chips here. And then there was the main role. And I'm thinking, this is the only other female thing that's in here that I feel like I have a good take on. Let me try. And I kind of went for this, like, very Jonan Vasquez inspired, like, despondent, fed up with the world, just the kind of teenager who would just be fed up with everything, is totally
You're
misanthropic.
trying to gas it up? Are you gazzing?
Gazzing. I definitely had gas in the back of my head as I'm up here in the back of my nose, and I'm typically not playing teenagers. And because I don't tend to pull them off convincingly, but when it's that kind of voice that's just like, oh, you know, like, it's meant to be a teenager, but you can hear the weight of the world is upon them. So I did that, and I ended up getting the lead role, who was this teenager, and I was like, where the hell did that come from? So it's definitely something that you always
It can happen.
try to shoot for everything. And that's all I have
Where
to
does
say.
any of it come from?
Jason, would you
Where does
agree
any of
or
it-
add anything to that?
No, I think she's fairly spot on, and I have a similar thing where I tend to be cast as either like a father figure. I'm rarely ever cast for my age because I don't really sound like I'm 29.
There you go.
Plus, I wouldn't think of your Megatron as a father. I'd think of him more as Uncle Megatron.
Oh yeah, he's the asshole uncle for sure.
Only Christmas.
Yeah, when I get auditions, and what I've been cast for are generally pretty exclusively I get cast as British people. Because you know, it's whether they want like sort of a
You
high
are very
London
good
sort
at
of
it.
thing, or if they want Cockney, then we fucking know that. So, but I so I don't
They
know.
want you
It,
for a lot of villains.
yeah, I am. I mean, Lewis, you cast me very well. Usually, I tend to get cast for villains, and I have absolutely no problem with
I
that.
don't think I've ever casted
I
you.
enjoy playing
I mean,
villains.
in all the years we've worked together, I don't think I've ever casted you as a good guy. Like, when I say a good guy, I mean a good guy. I mean Batman and that kind of thing. That's more
Yeah.
of like an anti-hero, you know? So it's
Yeah.
more in the middle, but full on, like, I'm supposed to inspire people and, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, that's just not in my wheelhouse, and it's one of those things where, you know,
But let me
sometimes
ask
people
you-
will say, you know, like, well, you should branch out and stuff, and you know, try it, and it's like, no, it's just no one would ever cast me for this because I don't sound like it.
but
So
let me
if
ask
no
you,
one's gonna
though.
cast me for it, that what?
I mean, is that something?
I was finishing a thought, you know.
I'm sorry. I just really want to ask: is that something you want, like, to be cast as, or or where you are now? You're like, you know what? I could do it, but I'd rather stay where I am. You know, like doing what I know best.
No, my natural laugh is far too evil, so I may as well just play bad guys. No, I'm fine with it. I have a lot more fun with villains. They tend to be able to go more places vocally, and you know, it's just delightful. And you know, like I was kind of joking around earlier, but there really is something to the idea of letting off steam that kind of, because obviously I'm not a megalomaniacal person bent on world domination, but sometimes it's fun to get that. Oh, I know. Contain your surprise, everyone. But it's nice to be able to get that out, like expressions of anger or what have you. It's kind of therapeutic in a way, I guess. That's kind of how I look at it. I tend to be typecast, and I'm way okay with it. When I do get auditions, I'll scroll through and see, especially for a lot of the anime things that I have auditioned for. Like, I'll get it, and I'll be like, nope, you're 17. Nope, you're 17. Nope,
I
you're
do
17.
I do the same
Aha!
thing.
You typical show.
Yeah, right? It's like, nope, you can't do young, can't do
I didn't
young.
sound 17
Too
when I
young,
was
too
17.
young, too young.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's like, how long have you sounded like this? And I'm like, from birth. Weren't you listening to the podcast? But yeah, like, I can't sound like I'm a young protagonist. I just don't have that sound. I can sound like several different grizzled old evil villains, if you'd like, but I can't really bring the hero thing, which is just as well. I would much rather play
that's
villains.
fair. And the final question for both of you, is there a role that either you've gotten that you were like, wow, I got this, really, either because you didn't audition for it, or you auditioned just maybe for the hell of it, or something? And it's a role that you never really considered or thought you would get, or are like, really, they want me for this?
I would say it was the one I had mentioned. I guess I preemptively answered that question, but when I tried out for Benefactors, I had no, because one, I'm typically not. Lead roles can tend to be in a lot of animated things, games and anime, tend to be like the young hero. Like we mentioned, it's the hero's journey typically, and that's a coming of age story typically. So you have to have a young protagonist. So I'm thinking, I can try, and it can sound like an adult trying to sound like a teenager, or there can be more to that, but let me give a spin, like sometimes that's apropos. Sometimes there's more to that. There's more levels to it, so why not? What's it going to kill me to expend an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to drum up something for this audition? So that was a huge surprise to actually get cast. Like, I've attempted it many times in auditions, but to actually get cast and to have that be a lead role was very surprising to me, because I'm not used to being up here. I'm really used to being here or lower, and that I could convince somebody that my higher timbre and my direction with that was convincing enough to be constantly at the forefront of whatever they were creating. It bowled me over. I was like, wow, okay, if you're sure.
Yeah. Nah, we need you at mom levels at all times. Go back to your mom level.
So that was a surprise, a pleasant surprise, and it definitely gave me the drive to keep trying and to keep refining those kind of voices for just in case, to have more tools in my arsenal. So yeah.
Of course.
Well, that's cool. That's good. It's good that you got variety on the brain. That's always a classic thing to do.
I definitely didn't think I would get Megatron. I auditioned for Optimus Prime and Starscream and just everyone on there because Optimus Prime, not to counter my previous point, but just because I do a Peter Cullen impression, and it's a low voice.
Damn good.
Now, I would not have wanted to play Optimus Prime because, once again, I can't really bring that. I sort of roll my eyes at heroes. I'm like, ugh, get off your horse. So a character like Optimus Prime, who will not get off of his horse.
Never.
Never. He is on that horse, and he
was built on top of the horse. The horse is attached.
Yeah, so I could not have brought that as well as in Combiner Wars, and and so that was one I definitely didn't think I would get. I wasn't honestly. I was kind of pulling for Starscream because people don't often let me do higher pitched voices because they want the lower voice that I do and stuff. That's why with that Z-Boy cartoon, I really like doing that Cornelius guy because he's way up here and fucking, no one ever hires me for this shit. So, but Megatron, I didn't think I would get, and I did.
You did a wonderful Bill Cipher at one point.
What? Oh, that was just goofing around.
Yes, but it was your high voice, and it was fantastic. So
that is true.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, I can go high, but no one ever really lets me. So I tend to just be the rumbly. Other thing was Spencer Porkinson in Red vs. Blue, because that is of course because that is a really wide net of actors that they were casting for. And I remember that since I wasn't local to Texas, it was kind of a stretch, but the director, Marissa, she sent me an email and she was like, hey, so I don't know if you're down for this, but we have this character who at the time was just listed as BBH, which stood for Badass Bounty Hunter. And so he didn't really have a name because they weren't going to reveal it yet, because the whole joke of the thing is that his name is ridiculous. It's Spencer Porkinson. So, yeah, but I mean, they gave me kind of a visual of like, he looks like this and he's a big scary guy in armor.
And so, of course, we went this way and pulled out some of his words.
And things like that, and that'll take it out of you after like an hour. But
Snaps for you, dude. That's awesome.
oh yeah, exactly. So I was like, right on. And of course, growing up, I loved Red versus Blue. So, fucking, that was delightful. And I definitely didn't. It was one of those things where I did the audition and sent it in, and I was like, well, that was fun, I guess. Anyway, I'll never hear about that again. But yeah, so that was another one that was a big surprise and didn't expect.
Very nice surprise.
But,
I mean,
but
I've seen the
Delight,
clips, and
indeed,
you
very
did a really good
delightful.
job.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun series to do because I'm like, my character's talking to these characters I remember from high school. Good Lord, like it was just a way back machine right in the face. So
It has
weird.
run for a long
Anyway.
time.
Full
Yeah.
of surprises.
That's as exciting as my life gets. Moving on.
All this talk of projects and everything we're doing makes me think of one thing, and you know what that is?
Hell.
We gotta stop talking and get back to work on all those projects.
Yeah. So hell.
So for the time being, we're all gonna say goodbye. As usual, I'm the guy that talks a lot, Starbeast Rave. To my left or right or whatever is Lake 777771177, who once again
You
has
missed the
forgot his
7, but
name
yes.
and
Yep,
forgot to
there he
respond
goes.
to-
Oh, you missed a 7. You didn't complete the name.
Oh, okay. Anyway, there's Mr. Lake 7777711. He's over
Thank
there.
you. Was that so hard? But yes, thank you so much for joining us.
And over there is a demon with a grocery store in it.
Expect to hear more from me real soon.
A Jazor of Lords.
I'm done with this.
And our special guest for today, whom we all love with all our hearts, Dusty Roses, a.k.a. Sandra.
Oh, yay. Please watch Frontier Zero. It'll make me so happy. And if you don't, I'm going to hurt you.
She will.
I'm going to hurt you. I'm really going to find you and I'm going to hurt you.
Right in your
Okay,
face.
seriously, we're not joking. She really will. Run.
Oh, she will. It's going to be awesome.
But yeah,
Don't
Already-
run. Stay there.
She'll do it. I've seen her.
Yeah. You'll save yourself time if you just stand
I
there.
can smell
and take
fear.
it.
It'll be over quicker.
So yeah, check out all our projects and social media and follow us, all of us. And what was that expression we had at the beginning? Watch it, buy it, eat it, something.
Fix it, trash
Living
it,
it,
mail
loving it, loving
update
it, swimming it, sleeping it.
chart it.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Thank you and good night.
Buy gold.
Good night.